Have you ever really thought about what the future of getting your stuff looks like? Well, today we're going to flip the switch on a silent revolution that's happening right now, behind the scenes. We're diving deep into the world of dark warehousing.
I mean, just picture it. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? A huge building running 24/7 in total darkness. No noise, just robots gliding around doing all the work. Well, this isn't some far-off concept anymore. For a lot of big companies, it's already here, and believe me, it is changing everything.
But look, this isn't just about some cool futuristic dream. The whole push for a people-free warehouse, it comes from some very real, very intense pressures. I mean, think about it. We're all ordering more stuff online than ever before. Companies are struggling to find people to work in these places. And let's be honest, we all want our packages faster and faster. Same-day delivery is becoming the norm. And that's the big question, isn't it? These terms get thrown around all the time, mostly as marketing buzzwords. So to really get what's going on, we have to cut through all that hype and figure out what we're actually talking about.
So let's break it down, because not every automated warehouse is truly lights out. There's a big difference. And here's where it gets interesting. A dark warehouse is super automated, but there's still a small human crew hanging around. You know, for the tricky stuff robots can't handle yet, like fixing a machine or checking for damaged goods. But a true lights-out warehouse, that is the holy grail. It's so autonomous you can literally turn off the lights. The machines, they just don't care.
So how in the world do you get a warehouse to run itself? Well, it's not about just one single piece of tech. It's more like an orchestra. You need a whole bunch of advanced systems all working together in perfect, high-tech harmony.
And of course, every orchestra needs a conductor. In this case, that conductor is a powerful mix of artificial intelligence and a warehouse management system, or WMS. This is the invisible brain of the whole operation, making every single decision and coordinating every movement in real time.
The first section in our orchestra is something called ASARs, Automated Storage and Retrieval Systems. The easiest way to think of these is like colossal, super dense libraries. You've got these robotic cranes and shuttles just zipping up and down, storing and grabbing items from insane heights in just a few seconds. They use every single inch of vertical space.
Next up, you've got the AMRs, or Autonomous Mobile Robots. Now these are the smart, flexible workers on the warehouse floor. See, the older robots, they had to follow fixed paths like a train on a track. But AMRs, they use sensors and AI to navigate all on their own, bringing shelves of goods to packing stations without any human help at all.
And finally, what holds this whole orchestra together? You could call it the nervous system, RFID. Tiny little tags on every single item let the AI brain see everything in real time. It knows exactly where every product is at any given moment. We're talking near perfect inventory accuracy here.
Okay, so all this theory sounds pretty impressive. But let's check out a real-world example to see just how mind-blowing this automated hive can be. We're going to take a look inside the operations of the online grocer Ocado.
To really get a sense of the scale here, just look at that number, 225,000. That's how many trays of inventory are in the massive cube at their warehouse in Andover, England. It's basically a city made of groceries.
And swarming all over the top of this grid is this little guy, the 600 series bot. This thing is a marvel. By designing it completely around 3D printing, Ocado made it 3 times lighter than the old model. And because the bot is lighter, the whole grid it runs on can be lighter and cheaper. And get this, it can be installed up to 40% faster. That's a massive leap in efficiency.
So you have to be asking yourself, if this tech is so game-changing, why isn't every single warehouse a lights-out facility by now? Well, like with everything, the promise of perfection always runs headfirst into some messy real-world problems.
And this really shows you the core issue. On one hand, you have the dream, a perfectly ordered, flawless system. But on the other hand, you have what can actually happen. Robots are absolutely brilliant at structured, repetitive tasks, but they completely fall apart when something unexpected happens.
So let's just quickly run through the biggest hurdles. First, just getting all these different systems, the software, the robots, the management tools, to talk to each other is incredibly complex. It's a huge headache. Second, robots are just terrible at unstructured tasks. They can't really handle a crushed box or figure out what's wrong with a returned item. And finally, if one critical part of this system goes down, the entire multi-million-dollar operation can just grind to a halt.
Which brings us to the million-dollar question, or maybe the $100 million question. With that massive upfront cost and all these potential problems, does the math actually make sense for dark warehousing?
Well, the story is pretty clear. The answer is increasingly yes. Just look at the pressures mounting. First, you've got serious labor shortages. Warehouse jobs have shot up over 20%. Then, the cost of just renting the space is going through the roof. But the biggest driver of all? That's us. Over 40% of consumers now expect same-day delivery. All these forces are making automation not just an option, but an absolute strategic necessity.
So yeah, the path to a fully lights-out world is still full of challenges, but the direction we're headed is crystal clear. This isn't just about turning off the lights. It's about turning on a smarter, faster, and much more resilient supply chain for all of us.
And hey, if you think this stuff is fast, you have got to see our next explainer. We are going inside the most extreme example of this tech in action today. How a company in India is using these tiny, local fulfillment centers to deliver groceries in under 10 minutes. Seriously, you are not going to want to miss it.